Hello everybody, I'm Chris Callahan, also known as Mr. C, and today we're going to talk about the knight. The first thing you need to know about the knight is that it's called the knight. It is not called the horse. I know that it looks like a horse, I know what horses look like, and I know what knights look like. And clearly, this chess piece is supposed to look like a horse. I know, I'm very sorry, it wasn't my decision. It is what it is, it's called the knight. So, how does the knight move? Well, it moves strangely. The knight is without a doubt the weirdest chess piece. All the other pieces move in a straight line. Sometimes those lines go up and down, sometimes they go sideways, sometimes they go diagonal, but they are always straight. But not the knight. He moves in this weird line that starts out straight and then halfway through takes a turn. There are two ways to look at how the knight moves. They both end up with the knight on the same square, so you can use the one that you like best. The first one is not my favorite, to be honest, but it seems to click in some people's minds, so I might as well mention it. Imagine the 6 on a pair of dice. Now, imagine that the knight is on one corner of that 6. I will draw the 6 squares here on the chessboard. The knight can move from one corner of the 6 to the other. Okay, like so. Or I could put the 6 upside down like this, and the knight would move like that. Or I could put the 6 going the other way, and the knight can go like that. Or the 6 could go down, and the knight can go like that. And so on and so forth. The other way of describing how the knight moves that at least makes more sense to me is to say 1, 2, turn. 1, 2, turn. So the knight goes 2 in one direction and then 1 to the side. Okay? And a lot of people will say that this looks like the letter L. You can kind of see a capital L. But the L, it can go sideways and be a sideways L. It can go up and be an upside down L. But it's always 1, 2, turn. 1, 2, turn here. 1, 2, turn there. 1, 2, turn up. 1, 2, turn to the side. Turn the other way. And 1, 2, turn to the other side. And these are all these red squares is where the knight can go. One thing that will trip people up sometimes with this method is that they'll count 1, 2, turn, but they count 1 on the square where the knight is already. Why is that 1? You haven't gone anywhere. So they'll say 1, 2, turn. But that's not a knight move. That's just diagonal. When you go 1, you have to actually go somewhere. Don't count the square the knight is on as 1. So those are the two ways to think of the strange line that the knight calls a move. But that's not all. The knight has a special power that none of the other pieces have. You see, all the other chess pieces, when they move, they slide around on the ground. And when they run into something, they get stuck. They can't go through it. It could be an enemy piece and they could take it, but you still can't go through on one move. The knight does not have this problem because the knight can jump. What do I mean by jump? Well, I mean jump. It flies magically through the air to go over the top of any pieces that might be in its way. So it goes 1, 2, turn, and goes right over the top of these pieces. They can be pieces from his own team. They can be enemy pieces. It doesn't matter. He flies right over the top of them just the same. Now keep in mind, he only takes the last one he lands on. And this makes sense if you think about it. Here we have a knight. So this is a man in steel armor that must be very heavy, and he's riding on top of a horse, which is even heavier, and this thing that weighs 1 billion pounds goes flying through the air. He jumps over this pawn. He also jumps over this pawn, and then he lands on top of this pawn. Which pawn do you think gets hurt in that scenario? Obviously, the last one. All right, so let's practice. We're going to do a little exercise. You are this white knight, and your job is to go take the black pawn. Now, the black pawn won't move. It'll just sit there until you take it. The white knight is the only piece that moves in this exercise. The catch is that I'm only going to give you 2 moves. So you need to play 1 move to get into position, and then on the second move, you're going to take the pawn. how would you be able to do that? I'll let you think for a second. Pause your videos if you like. And the answer, there's actually two answers, is that you can go here and then here, or you could go here and then here. Either way works fine. All right, let's do it again. Same exact thing. You are the knight. Go take the pawn. You have 2 moves to do it. I will let you think. Pause your videos if you like. Well, this one also has multiple answers. You could move the knight here and then move it here. The other acceptable way to do it is to go here and then take the pawn. Okay, last one, and of course, have to make it a bit harder. Same thing here, you're the knight, go take the pawn, except this time I will give you 3 moves, and you will need every single one of them. I promise. Take a minute to think, pause your videos if you like. Well, the answer is, there's actually many different answers, and I'm probably not going to show all of them because there's so many, but you could move the knight here. 1-2 turn, and then go 1-2 turn here, and then 1-2 turn, go take the pawn. Another option would be perhaps to go 1-2 turn here, and then go 1-2 turn here, and then 1-2 turn and go take the pawn. There are other ones that I didn't mention. You may have seen one of those, and that's just fine. All right, that's about all I have for you. Best of luck in your knightly endeavors. Just remember 1-2 turn, and remember that it's not called a horse. Goodbye.